Bess is having a perfume party with all of her friends, including Nancy, George, Lauren, and Paula. What in the? Who are Lauren and Paula? Bess has outside friends and interests that don't deal with Nancy's mystery obsession?
Argo Funk Book Review. Argo Funk Book Review.
George has a new love interest named Owen. We're not told what happened to the boyfriend she had earlier on in the series. Continuity. I guess he fell into a hole or something. George met Owen at the zoo, where he studies cats. He studies African cats. Owen gets blamed when 4 of the civets are stolen. It's up to Nancy to clear his good name, because otherwise George won't get to have a boyfriend. Not one who appears in more than 2 books, anyway. Our suspects are Zoe, the zookeeper who wears glamorous outfits, her angry assistant Tyler, who hates Owen, and no third suspect? That's a little unusual for this series. Let's say Owen is the third suspect. Yeah, Nancy can suspect the guy her friend likes, and there will be drama as a result. No one's sick of that storyline yet, right? Nancy examines the crime scene, and she tries to figure out why someone would steal a civet in the first place. And that's when Nancy meets a suspicious shadowy guy in sunglasses who tries breaking into her car. She scares him away, and he starts a car chase when she leaves. Either he's the culprit's partner, or he really likes Nancy's car. The culprit steals another civet right under Owen's nose. Owen says he's innocent. He was just taking an unscheduled dinner break, and he forgot to lock the door. Zoe decides to fire Owen, and I'm on her side. It doesn't matter if Owen's a thief or not. He's a bad employee. Shadowy culprit appears, and Nancy chases him. He leads her right into a trap, where she almost goes into the poison snake exhibit. Right after, he leads her into another trap, where he almost runs her over. You know what they say. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, Nancy has problems with pattern recognition. Tyler and Zoe get into a fight during a movie, something about how she can't fire him, but before Nancy can really investigate, she sees the shadowy culprit. She follows him to Owen's car, where he tries to kill her with a wild civet. Thankfully, Owen just happens to have a loaded tranquilizer gun in his trunk, so he's able to knock out the civet. They go back inside to get Zoe, and no, that would make sense. Instead, Owen decides to break into the zoo in the middle of the night with the stolen civet. He, wanted to help out in the most suspicious way possible. So, yeah, he gets caught by security. It's an obvious trap. Owen continues being suspicious when he secretly meets with Zoe at a drugstore and gives her the tranquilizer gun. It's pretty obvious to me that he was forced to hand it over because he was fired from the zoo, but Nancy is convinced that he's guilty. Secret meetings with guns? She accuses Owen, and that makes George so mad she refuses to talk to Nancy ever again. Bess takes Nancy to a perfume store at the mall, where they learn that civet oil is used to make perfume. Oh, so that's the culprit's motive. In fact, a rare civet oil perfume, which left the market 10 years ago, has recently reappeared. The investor looks familiar, but Nancy and Bess can't recognize him as the shadowy culprit because they were morons. The weird thing is, Nancy remembers a picture of this guy from Zoe's office, and she remembers Zoe got a call for classic scents. Scents as in perfume! So Nancy goes to their headquarters, where she finds the shadowy culprit with the civets. He tries shooting her, but she knocks the gun away, throws him in the civet cage, and calls the police. She doesn't bother to stick around, though, because there's obviously no way the culprit will be able to leave his own office, right? Nancy and Bess go to the zoo, where Nancy rides an aerial tram, and shadowy culprit shoots at her with the tranquilizer gun. Now, how did he escape the unlocked office? Nancy breaks into Zoe's room and gets concrete evidence. Zoe and shadowy culprit are both related to the creator of the rare perfume, and they stole the civet so they could produce the fragrance and make millions. Nancy's interrupted when the culprits appear. They are getting rid of Tyler, who is trying to blackmail Zoe. Nancy knocks the gun away from shadowy culprit again, but Zoe retrieves the gun. They march Nancy to the Cobra Cave, where Nancy is pushed directly into the path of an angry cobra. Oh no! How is she going to escape? Well, she accidentally trips over the cobra, and it misses her. Our hero! She knocks the tranquilizer gun away from shadowy culprit a 3rd time, and she uses the gun to knock out the cobra. She then calls the police, and this time she waits for the police to arrive before leaving. The end. Post-book follow-up. I did not enjoy this book much. I especially disliked the subplot of Nancy suspecting Owen and the ensuing drama of George getting mad at Nancy. We've seen that before with George's last boyfriend, some of Bess's boyfriends, some of the hot cover guys that Nancy likes, and some of the girls the Hardys liked in Super Mysteries. In other words, this story has been reused too many times for it to be effective. I could see from a mile away that this was a fake-out suspicion for the sake of drama, especially since there's a readily available reason for why Owen had to give up his tranquilizer gun. He was fired. I would have been legitimately surprised if he had been the culprit. The book relies a little too heavily on plot convenience, like Bess taking Nancy away from the investigation to go to the perfume store, Bess and Nancy not recognizing the picture of shadowy culprit, and Nancy remembering that one random phone call which was super important. All of those scenes took place at the mall, now that I think about it. So whenever Nancy's at the mall, magic happens in order to keep the story going. I think Tyler wasn't a good suspect. He was underused. Zoe was a more interesting character, so I'm glad she won the coin toss as to which of the two suspects was guilty. Shadowy culprit was not developed at all. He's just the guy who tried to kill Nancy at every turn for the sake of having cliffhangers. You'd think at one point Nancy would stop chasing him and falling for his death traps, but no. Overall, the book has its good points, but only two suspects, some heavy plot convenience, and the overused storyline of Nancy suspecting George's boyfriend bring the book down. I liked reading it, but I'm not gonna read it again. I give Nancy Drew Files number 44, Scent of Danger, a 4 out of 10.